Or echoing for Rod. There we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome. We'll be getting started here in a few minutes. Feel free to write in the comments section your name, where you're from, say hello, and we'll be getting started soon. Alrighty. Love seeing all the questions coming in the chat already.
It's going to be a fun one, Q&A, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Keep coming.
We're going to be talking all things driving in Panama.
Yes.
And Oscar's the expert.
Well, ish.
If you've been in a vehicle with him, you know. Or if he's gotten you a vehicle, you know.
Let's see.
We see some familiar names. Hey, Debbie. Good to see
Debbie.
you. And some other familiar names on here. I think maybe some people coming up on future tours.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, it's 7 o'clock. Should we get started? Should we introduce ourselves?
Sure. Who are we? Mrs. Megan?
Yeah, I'm Megan. We are Retiring Panama Tourists and also Panama Expat Service. So we help expats, mostly North Americans, but people from all over that want to move to Panama. I'm originally from the U.S. Oscar is originally from Colombia.
From Colombia, right next neighbor.
And our wonderful business partner, Rod, sitting in the other room doing tech for us, is from Canada. Oh, there he is. That's all we get, Rod. So we do monthly tours, group tours to see the whole country, also 3-day, those are 7-day tours, also 3-day tours of just the Cherokee Highlands, people looking for cooler climate, and also personalized private tours. And then with Panama Expat Service, we help expats that don't want to do a tour or already moved here and just need help with The little things.
Yes, the little things like how get things around, or in some situations, some of them they unfortunately don't have the right information or the best experience, and they have a lot of red tape around. I do have a master's degree on removing the red tape. Let's put it that way.
That's true. Yeah. Oscar's the guy you want when you just can't get it done with paperwork in Panama or processes, government offices. He can get it done.
Don't worry. Sometimes I know a guy.
He's the guy.
So how we start this?
So we already see questions coming in the
Yeah.
chat, but we want to do a little presentation first.
Yes.
Just to get started, go over the major things like how to get your driver's license here, how to buy a vehicle, some tips about paying tickets, laws, paperwork, and some things about driving in Panama. So we'll try and do that in less than 15 minutes, and then we can take all of your questions after.
If for some reason some of the questions don't get answered tonight, feel free to email us. We'll share with you guys our email and our website that you can reach out to us directly. So no matter what, you will have your answer.
Yes. So let's see. Let's do our presentation. Add to the stage. Okay. So this is kind of what we're going to go over: how to get your license, how to purchase a vehicle, laws, paperwork, tickets, and some tips for driving in the country. So first things first, which Oscar is our expert, purchasing vehicles.
Thank you. So first of all, when you're buying, this is for, in some cases, well, the one case more easier is to find a new car. Buying a new car in Panama, the one thing you need to know is which is the brand. I will always suggest people to buy cars or the brands so you can get better service, better parts, and also you can find all those options in main cities in the country. There's a lot of brands here. They're very well known, like a Toyota, Honda, Kia, Hyundai, Ford, Nissan. There is some other brands. I'm not saying the other brands are not good. I'm just saying there's some brands you don't get the prompt service or the easy parts. Like in Panama City is a whole different world than the rest of the country. So in Panama City, you're good buying, let's say, a Porsche or a Mercedes or BMW. There is actually shops there, and the roads are better there. But in the rest of the country, buying a new car usually is very straightforward. You go to a dealership, and all you need to do is get the paperwork. You can do a wire transfer from North America or from elsewhere, or from your Panamanian bank account, and do the paperwork. Shows your municipality. So what is the municipality? Is the official building in the main town you're going to be living or your residency. So in case like Panama, or Chitre for Herrera, or Boquete for Bajo Boquete for Boquete District, or David for Capital Chiriquí. Some municipalities are kind of easier than others to work with, or has better assistance for paperwork. So besides that, buying a new car is basically a no-brainer, and you have full guarantee. Most of the brands they give you either 3 years or X amount of kilometers, whatever happens first. Sometimes you can even extend the guarantee. Sorry. So the other part about the new cars is also finding what is your lifestyle. They say, do you need a 4x4? Do you need a high clearance? Do you need a pickup truck? Do you need an SUV? So things you need to check out. The another thing that we realize is that in Panama, the versions or specifications of vehicles are different than North America, for example, like US and Canada. So the Hyundai Tucson that you see here, it looks exactly like the one in North America, but it comes with a lot of different, less gadgets, meaning doesn't have the same amount of airbags, doesn't have the all-wheel drive. So you get more is the basic version, and if you wanna to get like what you want, four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, leather seats, extra airbags, like seven airbags and extra sensors, you will want to ask for the full extras. That's how they call here, full extras, meaning that's the version that most likely you will have in North America. Now that's the easy part to get a brand new car.
Yeah, and a lot of times, even if it's called the same exact make and model, here in Panama, it's a different car because that version was made different for Latin America.
Yeah. And usually it's not manufactured in the same country. Some of them are manufactured in Brazil, some of them are manufactured in Mexico, some of them are manufactured in Europe. What is next?
So private seller versus dealership for used cars.
Yeah, so private seller versus dealership. When it comes to the used car, it is very tricky. If you know very well the private seller, someone that you know closely, that is one way to do it. However, you always want to make sure to check the vehicle, make sure there has no accident records, make sure there is no main repairs in the chassis or the engine, or to have oil leaks. They have sometimes they in a private seller. If you're going to someone that you don't know, which with more reason you need to look at and those little things, because unfortunately, in Latin America, not just Panama, different countries, they're altering the kilometers of the dashboard. So if your car has 150,000 kilometers, there is some people that they can get into the computer and reduce that to 40,000 kilometers. Now, you will see the car will be okay. It's 40,000 kilometers. Oh, that's a great deal, and it's so cheap. Not everything that shines is gold. Let's put it that way. So you always have to make sure what to look for. If the car is such a low kilometers, such a good deal, it's always something a little red flag. It happens to me that I found out vehicles that have very low kilometers, and I look into the vehicle and it either has been a total brought from North America or has been modified the mileage. And sometimes I don't even have to put a computer, just by looking detail of the car, the paint, the interior of the engine. Sometimes some of the chassis, I've been found cars where the chassis were built and they cover it with a brand new bumper and a grill. There is always you can look at it. Now, me personally,
we forgot to mention about your background in mechanics. How
oh
you
yeah,
know all of this.
So what you ask, you wonder yourself. So how this guy know this? Well, I grew up in a family mechanic garage in Colombia since I was born. I was literally born in mechanic garage, and my Play-Doh was a bucket of grease. Let's put it that way. So my family run a mechanic garage for my whole life growing up. My first 25 years of my life, literally, I have to be involved with vehicles. So when I was working in mechanic garage, my job was to test the cars to find out the weird noises to detecting what was the problem to be fixed. So that's my background, and I'm very specific about it. So if I feel something weird noise, I usually pay attention. I do a test drive, or I literally have to go under the car. I will do it. Or if I have a jack on hand, I will jack it up the car and just do my own testing. But that's one way to do it. If you don't have that knowledge, there is people can help you to check the car. There is a very good mechanic garages that you can look it up, or like for instance in Panama City, is this very famous mechanic garage is called CDN. It's quite famous on social media these days, and they do have a special machines and computers that can detect if the car has a high mileage, and you have to be patient to get an appointment with him, but it's worth it because it will tell you exactly if the car was being in a car accident or have been modified, the kilometers, anything like that. Or if you have somebody like me, or you hire me to look that car for you. Now, what I do is to some of our dear guests that come in our tours, they end up moving here. We provide the service to find the vehicle. And besides the find the vehicle, I like to always make my own suggestions, meaning if a person lives here in Boquete and they say, "Oh, I want an Audi convertible," and but I will say, "Well, why you want a convertible in Boquete?" Not nothing wrong with the convertible, but where's the lifestyle? The person one that lives in an area quite remote, then they probably the clearance is not good enough. I will my own suggestion probably not the brand, not the model, regardless to the environment and the lifestyle you want to have. Because sometimes some vehicles you cannot have it um, in some areas.
Yeah. Yeah, and we don't have Carfax here in Panama, so
Hmm.
in Panama it's really just usually use a facilitator to check if anything is due on the vehicle,
Yes.
and getting a really good mechanic to do a good inspection.
Yeah, it's very important because the Carfax doesn't work here, and there is sometimes vehicles that are import from North America. But you can look at on the Carfax with the VIN number.
If you're suspicious that it was in the
Yeah,
US before, then it would show up.
yeah. It's a true story. I was finding a car for a friends of ours that actually came on a tour, and they found out this really good deal of the Honda CRV. It was a 2019, 2020, very good price. And I look it up with them, and I asked the guy, "Well, this car must have a guarantee." Back then, in that year, that was in 2022 when they were looking at it. So I told the guy, "But this car must be in guarantee because they only have like a 20,000 kilometers even." And the guy said, "No, it doesn't have a guarantee." So I said, "Why not?" And said he couldn't say anything. So I said, "Oh, this car was imported." And the guy could have just said silence. I'm like, "Okay, now I know." So once I knew that, it was a matter of fact to find out why it was so cheap, if even it was imported from North America. After 10, 15 minutes looking under, literally got under the car on the ground, and I found out that one of the corners of the chassis has been completely rebuilt. So that car was 100% total. It was refurnished. So the car was value was zero. So I was able to get that away. The car might could have worked, but the value has none because it's a total. So if you don't know how it was rebuilt, like it could be a decent car for eight amount of time, or just in less than a month will be broken. You never know. So it's better to avoid that.
Yeah. How about paying for a vehicle?
Paying for the vehicle. If you buy again, if you buy from a proper dealership brand new where you were transfer, no problem. If there is some other dealerships for the used cars, then they has a very good reputation. There is several in Panama City. There is several dealerships in other towns. Even dealerships like Ricardo Perez, which they handle Toyota, they do have a section for the what is the uh,
Trade-in?
no, it's a section for certified cars. Meaning there is, let's say they have a car they've been certified by the dealership. There's in pristine conditions. They have basically they will sell it to you with the guarantee of the dealership. So dealerships do sell used cars, but their own brand. Like a Toyota will not sell you a Hyundai. It will sell you a Toyota, different model, but a Toyota. Sometimes you can get the same service with a Honda dealership or the Hyundai dealership. Sometimes there is a different trade in between. Not very common with other brands, most common with Toyota. Uh-huh. So it's always for the payment, wire transfer. The easiest way is when you have the money here in Panama. Because when you're purchasing a car, especially for a private seller, there is always something in risk. You have to make sure you have someone who speaks the language. If you don't speak Spanish, you want to have someone that will interpret it for you. That also has knowledge about what's going on in the situation. They will advocate for you, and that person is gonna be make sure that the car is ruled on paperwork. You wanna make sure that the title is good. They have no tickets, and once it's all done, you do the contract. The contract to be legal in Panama must be in Spanish, hopefully notarized. Now, in my personal, when I've been working with people very reliable, but that's just in my experience because I've been working for people for several years right now in reputable car dealerships in Panama City. So, but it's like it's a business behind, so you have the support of that business. If it's something happened with have never happened to me, like engine or transmission, they usually cover for 6 months for dealership. So that's some benefits between dealerships over a private seller. Because a dealership, even if it's a used car dealership, you still have the business. They have to respond if anything goes sideways.
Yeah, it is easier if you have your money here in a Panama
Oh
bank
yeah,
account.
because the transaction goes smoother. You don't have to wait, and then you can do the transaction the same day, do the paperwork, and hopefully get the car in your hands the same day. Yes. Now, some is other dealerships that can be more complicated to work. Not gonna give names, but there is some other dealerships, even some dealerships that sell cars from a car rental place, and the process can be weeks before you get your car. So you want to make sure like what is convenient, but also what is best for the value, and what is the best for making sure the condition of the vehicle. Car rentals, you can find sometimes really good deals, but sometimes you can find a project because too much mileage. You don't know. So many people drove that car that you don't know how 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 well maintained it was. What is the next part?
Inspection, title, and insurance.
So the inspection, which is the revisado, every single car when you're buying must, in order to do the title of transfer, is not. Sometimes people confuse title transfer with registration. Registration is where the car is registered in a municipality on the town. Let's say Panama City. So the car is being registered in Panama City, which is the description. But the title transfer is when it's ownership. So that's the title transfer when you buy a car secondhand. Now, if that car, the place is let's say June this month, and you buy it in August, you have to wait until next June when it's due the plates, pay the taxes first, and after you pay the taxes, you can do a process. Either you can do yourself, you have to go to the municipality, bring all the paperwork, original paperwork in your ID, and you ask for a liberation of the municipality. So you pay like a little fee, pay a fee, and get liberated. And you, after you get all the paperwork, you can inscription to another municipality. When you do inscription on municipality, you have to go to, let's say you want to inscript a car in Boquete. So they will accept your paperwork, but they have to go to ATT in David because there is no ATT in Boquete. So you have to go to the ATT into the DIJ, which is a department of the police, for a certification of the car, meaning that the car is legal. So they have to match VIN number with the chassis, with the engine. Everything have to match. Once it's certified, they give you that paper, and the ATT also they give you pay a little fee for making like a certification that you can get all this paperwork, bring it to Boquete, and then you can do the inscription. That's one way. And remember, every single step on the way, all the offices, no one speaks one word in English. So that's what it comes to the situation. For me, personally speaking, it's a handful job. But the good thing here in Panama is there is people that does that job for you. We call it facilitators. As a matter of fact, like I know a guy, one of several people that do that. Very reliable people. They have excellent reputation. And one, for instance, in Panama City, we have a gal that she's amazing, Stephanie Morales. I don't know if she's today on the call, but we can share her contact. And she's actually one of the gals that does a lot of that paperwork in Panama City. She does all the process to make sure the inscription, or she does also find your vehicle also in Panama City. She has good experience in that one. And anything related with vehicles and paperwork, she can help you with that. As a matter of fact, she does not just Panama City, also Panama West and other areas.
Yeah, and we have a few facilitators here in Cherokee too.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And even though we know how to do all of this, we even use facilitators because it's just easier.
It's so much time consuming. Yeah.
And as far as getting your right insurance, we always recommend getting full coverage insurance and ideally going through a broker who speaks English and can support you if you need.
Yeah. Another thing is when you buy the car, and let's say you're starting your process for residency. In the car, you bought it with your passport. That's okay, no problem. What happens if you became a permanent residency? Or even better, what happens if you get your e-cedula, which is that's your former Panamanian ID? You could still have the car on your passport, but if you lost your passport or you upgrade your passport, you need to update it. So most healthy decision is as soon as you have your permanent ID in Panama, you go to the ATT or the municipality to upgrade the information. You bring your passport, you bring your ID, and just they do a process and they'll upgrade. So the title, they give you a new title with a new ID number. Again, facilitators do the same thing.
All right, let's quickly, like no more than 5-10 minutes in the rest of the presentation so that we can get to questions.
Yes.
Okay, we just have a couple more slides for you guys here. How to get a driver's license. Oh, the presentation got a little wonky with the platform, but that's okay. You can still read it. So there's two different ways to get your driver's license. One is getting your foreign license authenticated at your embassy. So if you're from the US, that means going in person. You have to get an appointment first online at the US Embassy in Panama City. And then you have to go in person with your driver's license and get it authenticated. If you're Canadian, the Canadian Embassy will allow you to do it, will allow you to just send in your documents to them. You can courier it to them. You don't have to make an appointment. You just email them and you can do it remotely with them. And then once you have the authentication of your foreign driver's license, that then needs to go to the Foreign Affairs Office in Old Town Casco Viejo of Panama City. And it takes about 3 days to get a stamp on that authentication. And then once you have all of that paperwork, you can go into the Serchersen office, which is where you get your Panamanian driver's license. And then from there, once you're in Serchersen, if you're not of retiree age, then you need to make an appointment first. If you are of retiree age or you have your pensionado visa, then you don't need to make an appointment. You can just go right into Serchersen. You'll want to take a blood type test, which you can get from any lab here in Panama. And if you're over 70, you'll also need a doctor's written approval with you that you are good to drive and get your license. And then once you go into Serchersen, you will do a hearing and vision test. And then you will pay about $40, or if you're pensionado, $32, you get the discount there. And you get your printed out Panamanian driver's license. Now, if you go in without the authentication, then you'll also need to do a driving test, which is very easy. It's just parking, 3 different parking maneuvers, forwards, backwards, and parallel parking in a parking lot.
Yeah. However, do not touch the cones.
Without touching the cones, of course. And also a written test, which you can study for beforehand. It's a multiple choice test, and you'll get 10 out of the 130 study questions on the test, and you have to get at least 7 out of 10 correct to pass. So that's the only difference between doing it the good old-fashioned way and the authentication route, is that without the authentication, you do have to do the driving and the written test. But for people that live on the Boquete side of the country or other areas of the country that aren't Panama City, sometimes they just find it easier to not have to go through the embassy route. If you're Canadian, it's a little bit easier. If you're US, you have to go in person for that. There are facilitators that help. Like, for example, we recommend our amazing lawyers who have offices in Boquete and Panama City to all of our tour guests, and anybody else who needs a good recommendation, we can send it to you. Actually, we can ask Rod to put he put the contact us forms in the chat. So you can type in there if you need any recommendations. They help when people are coming to get their visas here, the residency, at the same time, they'll make sure you get your embassy appointment and they'll take that authentication, make sure you get your foreign affairs stamp, and you can get everything at the same time with their assistance. So that's a great service that they do. Yeah. And the multiple choice test you can take in English. And I did it that way in David. And even though I speak Spanish, they were super nice to other foreigners I saw there that didn't speak Spanish. They were very used to English speakers coming in, and they helped them get through the process. Yeah, I think that's it for that. Let's quick do the next 2 slides so we can get to questions. So paperwork, tickets, and laws to know. A big thing is keeping in your car your insurance, inspection, vehicle registration, license, ID, an accident report form, the official driver's handbook, and also we recommend an emergency road kit as well.
Yeah, there is sometimes they don't bother asking that, but it is by law you need to have all of those, and also for safety. You don't need to have the original paperwork. Copies are good, just to make sure all the original paperwork, keep it safe in your house, like your title, your insurance, all the originals. Just keep in a folder in your lock compartment all the copies from the insurance, the inspection, the registration, even in a copy of your ID, but you always have to bring your ID with you, of course, if you're driving. And the accident report in the book. Yes.
A common question that we get are about speeding tickets. They're always $50. You can pay them online or in person at the ATTT office, which is in most of the major cities, or also on Banco General on your own banking application.
Maybe besides Banco General, Rod will know this, but I've done it many times. It's just directly on the website with my credit card.
And that's it right fine. There, the licencia.com.pa.
Yes. Tracy, that's in the driving using foreign driving license, you only can drive here for 90 days.
We'll get to those.
Yes, we'll get to those after this one. Yes. What else?
So why do tickets have to be paid in 30 days?
Because otherwise you get a fine. And then it's not much of the money. It's not about even the money. It's about if you get stopped by the police and they say you have been over 30 days, they call you desacato, meaning you're not attending the law, and they can take your drive license from you physically, and you don't have anybody else in the car that can drive the car. Guess what? There's no other option, but they have to call the toll car, and your car will be tolled, and you will be in the middle of wherever you got stopped, you find your way home.
So make sure to pay your tickets on time.
Yes.
Also, 0 tolerance for drunk driving, 0 tolerance for cell phone use while driving. Third-party insurance is mandatory. I think, as Oscar said, tourists can drive with a foreign driver's license for only 90 days.
Calendar.
Mm-hmm. So even though you can stay for 180 days on a tourist visa, you can only drive for 90, and that's for U.S. and Canadians. We have that 180-day visa for tourists.
Yes.
But as soon as you obtain temporary or permanent residency in Panama, your foreign license is no longer valid, and you need to get your Panama license. If you get pulled over and they see the immigration stamp in your passport and you're just trying to get by pretending you're still a tourist with your temporary residency card, you can get a fine and get your car towed. So better to just line that all up with your lawyer. If you have an awesome lawyer like ours, have them line it up at the same time to get your driver's license authenticated and get your residency all at the same time.
Yes.
Okay, some tips for driving in Panama.
Well, there is one basic rule to follow driving in Panama. Guess which one it is? There's no rules. Literally. I've been driving here for almost 15 years, probably over 1 million kilometers, probably. And you have to be very defensive and imagine that you're invisible.
There are laws. It just doesn't mean anyone abides by them.
Yeah.
But the traffic police can pull you over at any time if we're not.
Yeah,
So,
if you're doing the wrong turn, there is definitely some things that you should never do, like do a U-turn in
U-turns.
areas, or there is some intersections that you cannot just cross. If you're the solid lines, you cannot cross. Some people do it, but if there is a cop, there you go, you got a ticket. No parking in handicap spaces. That's a big one. That's like $300 fine. Just
So,
that one.
We always recommend using Waze or Google Maps because the signage isn't always great, or if you don't read Spanish, maybe you miss it. Always use Waze and Google Maps. Also, avoid driving at peak traffic hours. This is especially true in the Panama City area.
Yeah, Panama City or any big cities, because the traffic areas, especially if you're in and out of a city like Panama City, this is a big one because sometimes, let's say you live in Panama West and you have a flight at 10 a.m. the next day. And you say, oh, no, I leave at 8 o'clock, it should be fine. Nope. If you might be okay if you drive at 4 or 5 a.m. and it's still pushing. So better drive the day before, stay the night, you don't miss your flight.
You don't want to drive into the city early in the morning or out of the city in the afternoon.
Out of the city after 3 p.m. is a no-go. You will stuck for hours.
Or out of the city at the start of the weekend or into the city at the end of the weekend.
Yeah. So always make sure you learn about what is the word for that? What is the condition of the traffic in the area you're driving?
And holidays.
And the holidays, especially if you're gonna do errands, avoid the 15th or the 30th because are those the paydays. In those days, every single, for instance, grocery stores, banks are gonna be packed, and also there's a lot of traffic jam those days. So avoid those.
Yeah, so we have the Panama's main highway is the Interamericana, runs from Costa Rica to the Darien Jungle. That highway and most of the major highways through the major cities are paved, mostly 2-lane and fairly well maintained. Not so much once you get out into the rural areas, you'll see more rough roads, potholes.
Yeah, especially in the areas that are not that touristy. Let's say you're going to, I don't know where I can think of.
Anywhere rural.
Anywhere very rural. You expect like it's going to be potholes and off-road areas. So you want to make sure you take it easy and make sure you have a good condition your vehicle.
Especially during the heavy rainy season or during a big storm. There's a lot of drainage issues as well. So just keeping that in mind. And then the other major highways are the corredors, the expressways in the greater Panama City area. Those are the only toll roads. And you'll need a Panapass. It's like like a toll pass to get through most of those. They don't even have where you can pay in cash or coins.
No, that's usually when you need to use those. Mostly it's for people to live in the city, and you have the sticker on the windshield, and you add through your credit card, or you can prepay it in some grocery stores. You can do recharge with the bank account, or when you get it, to just attach to your credit card.
The Panapass and the corredors do save you a lot of time if you're going back and forth to the airport. And if you're renting a car, you can make sure the rental company has a Panapass charged on it.
And let them know you're gonna use it. Now, if for some reason you're in the city, you come from the interior of the country, you're going to the airport to pick up a friend or just to do errands. There is one setting. This is only for Waze. There is one setting when you check the option routes. And you click in the settings, there is one area there in the top of the settings says avoid tolls. When you click that setting, it will reroute the map to avoid any tolls. So it will give you any route. It might take you a little longer, but will not take you through any tolls, so you don't have to be worried about getting stuck or making a big traffic jam, because the toll will be like this. It won't open. It will be open eventually, but you will get a lot of people not too happy with you.
Yeah. Okay, great. Let's get into the Q&A. I think that was mostly everything. Oh, a reminder that the speed limits are in kilometers per hour here.
Kilometers,
if you're from the U.S., we're not used to that.
So, what other questions do we have?
Here we have one up on the screen already. And Rod, feel free to, if you see any lives in the chat, feel free to bring on people live too. So Sandra asks, can we bring a car we own from Costa Rica?
You can. It's quite a bit of the paperwork and taxes involved to do the importation process. My suggestion, because Costa Rican vehicles are more expensive than Panama, sell it in Costa Rica, buy one in Panama. Trust me, the actual better deal. Because a car like I have a Lexus right now, and it's a GS460. That car here is about 19, 18 grand. In Costa Rica, probably will be 25 grand, easy. It will be still. So if that car from Costa Rica, I will highly suggest better selling in Costa Rica. Get one here. And just avoid the paperwork, the hassle, especially if you're moving here. If you're coming just to tourists, yeah, of course you can drive it. Just make sure you have to be the owner of the vehicle, driving the vehicle, and you do the paperwork to stamp the vehicle, the insurance that you will need to drive the vehicle in Panama. Mm-hmm.
Great. Let's add Kevin to the stage. Hello.
Hey, Kevin.
Hi. For
How's
some
it
reason,
going?
good. How's it going for you guys?
Wonderful.
Very
How
good.
can we help?
Two quick questions.
Yes.
One is, what about the availability of Subaru?
Subaru. Yeah, we have a dealership in Panama City and
And
David.
David, yeah, Subarus are great cars. I own one and I love it. I love the Subarus. It's hard to find used Subarus in a very pristine conditions or low kilometers in Panama, but sometimes they're available
People don't want to let those go.
because they're
very
really
popular.
good. And especially because all Subarus come all-wheel drive. So
What about motorcycle?
motorcycles are common here in Panama. You want to just make sure what type of motorcycle and also to understand the motorcycle you're invisible in Panama because a lot of people, sadly to say, they do not respect motorcycles. So you have to.
They're not that common compared to other Latin American countries,
Yeah.
so people aren't looking out for them.
No. You can find really good deals on motorcycles here in Panama. Like me personally, I love motorcycles, but has never been a priority. I see myself many times driving a Harley or a dirt bike, but I just I got kids, I guess.
But we have a lot of friends that do,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of motorcycle groups.
Yeah.
They go on Sundays and ride all over the country.
Yeah, if you own a motorcycle here in Panama, I would highly suggest get a big motorcycle. Some motorcycle they have a lot of stability, and people know you're around. They has a lot of room.
Thanks very much, guys.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Great. Our next question from Larry: are there mechanics who can work on hybrid vehicles?
I will only suggest dealerships for that.
Too much.
Hybrids
It's really new here.
it's still very new, even electrical, even worse. So because the hybrids is if you don't understand so much electronic into it, then it's just that's something that only the dealership. I will highly suggest only dealership. So if you're buying a hybrid, if you're buying a used hybrid car, you really want to take it to the dealership to make sure everything is good, the maintenance and everything, because those batteries, if they're in good life, or you have to be replaced, and only those people they know how to do it. I'm probably there's other people that can do it in other areas, but not in my knowledge.
Hey, Peter and Kathy, when are you
Hey.
coming back?
Still waiting for you guys.
Sandra, my husband and I live in Jaramillo. We received our temporary visas in April, but did not get our driver's license. Gotta get it. Oh, yeah, because we were told we would have to get new licenses when we receive our permanent visa. Yeah, so your temporary visa is only for 6 months while you're waiting for your permanent card. So when you get your Panamanian license, it would only be for 6 months. But then as soon as you get your permanent visa, you just go back into Sertresen and you pay again to get them to print out a new license, but then it'll be good for 4 years.
But it's really faster. All they have to do is give and take.
Yeah.
And pay, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you already proved, you already passed the test and everything.
Yeah, it's just you'll get the new expiration date. And it's one extra step, but it's worth it to be able to drive legally those months.
Yeah. Dan Wolf, how I'll contact you? There is our email, Panama Expat Service email that we share in the chat. And also, like, if there is interest in, we can actually help you to find the vehicle for you, including the inspection, paperwork, and deliver to your door.
There's our website. We got PanamaExpatService.com.
So more than
us
happy to assist you with that. And if you know, if you already have the car, depends where you are. Let me know if I can do it myself. Otherwise, I can do my best to suggest you a neuro mechanic reliable for you.
Yeah, Rod also put our contact us form in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys can contact us that way if you want to get signed up for our newsletter, if you want the slides of the presentation we did or the recording of this Q&A. It's going to be on all our social media.
Yeah.
Hey, Dan, what changes have to be made to your driver's license after you get your e-cedula?
Basically, you go back to Sertresen with your e-cedula, your passport, and your driver license, and you just ask for upgrade information.
The important thing is with your title. Right?
Yeah, most important with the title, but the driver license as well. So, like, as a matter of fact, I have to do it myself too.
Yeah, now that you got your
Mm-hmm.
new e-cedula. Yeah, it is important to update all of your.
Yeah, I carry always.
license.
However, I carry my permanent residency with me. That has the ID number with the drive license. But if not, definitely you need to upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can go together.
Gary, are golf carts and UTVs licensed the same as automobiles? Thinking about beach towns where these are used a lot.
Golf carts, only they're good in gated communities, so sometimes they're flexible to drive in the center towns. Like in Boquete, few people drive it around. They can get away, and the cops are okay with that, but it's not technically legal. UTVs, you must have a plate, but only can be in the towns. They're not meant to be on the highways because they don't have the same specifications of the vehicle, so they do have limitations. So they do, yeah. If you live in a beach town, UTV is better because a golf cart doesn't provide you the safety and also the power you need to drive around with all the traffic. Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
I know there are more in there. From Colin, is it possible to lease a vehicle from a dealership?
The lease here is not common in Panama. It's only you buy it or you buy it.
From Zach. Hey, Zach. It's been a while since we've seen that name. Are dealers willing to accept an order for a new vehicle to be built, or do they strictly sell a new vehicle from their existing stock? A lot of times they have to bring them in. They don't always have it on the lot, the new vehicle.
Yes, depends on the model. If it's a model that is quite common, if it has sold fast, you might have to wait. If it's a specific model you want that is not that very common, you have to wait a little bit.
They'll order it.
Mm-hmm. They'll order it for you.
Yeah, purchasing a vehicle is a little bit longer process here than in North America. Usually it will take at least a week.
Yeah, at least.
Karen, I got my e-cedula prior to obtaining my driver's license. Do I need to update the number on my driver's license at ATT, or can I just wait and do it when it expires in 2 years?
The drive license, you go to the Sertresen.
License.
Driver license. So that's
right, but if she got her e-cedula before getting her driver's license, then it should be with your driver's license should be with your e-cedula.
So make sure your driver license if it match your e-cedula. If it doesn't, then you go with the ID. You got your driver license and your e-cedula.
Once you have your e-cedula in Panama, you just want that on everything.
Yes.
Because that number never changes.
Your title.
Makes everything easier.
Yes, your title, your bank account, your corporation, your driver license, every single thing. Your insurance, everything.
Jeff and Angie, hey, we'll see you guys next week. Is the written driver's test available in English? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Tracy, how long can we drive using our foreign driver's license?
That's 90 days. 90 days, and after that, you have to either leave the country
And come back in.
and come back in to reset.
I will reset it.
Mm-hmm. What else? Anybody else that want to jump on the screen? Join us. Show a beautiful face. Say hi, maybe someone.
Ted and Connie, I've known people that have had to pay the police officers directly. Is this legal?
Nope. No. Now, here's the thing. In the past, that was very out of control. Some cops, they were literally threatening foreigners, especially the ones who speak Spanish, and they will threaten that the ticket will be $100 or $200, and they can get lost the car and everything, and they can get away with hundreds of dollars just because. Many of them got fired. Many of them can even get in jail. These days, sometimes they yeah.
It still happens.
It still happens. So here's the thing.
But they won't tell you
They won't tell
have to pay me, but they might say like.
Here's the thing. Here's the book of the tickets. There's the book of the tickets. They start looking at you and they start saying you, hi. So
where are you from?
Where are you from? And yeah, so ticket. You know, there is a pizza. It's like $20 nearby.
Yeah. And if they're serious, they'll just write you the
they
ticket.
Just write the ticket.
Here you go on your way.
No,
They might fish for a bribe. We don't suggest it.
We don't suggest
the
that.
Tickets, all the speeding tickets are $50. Easy to pay online.
Easy to pay online. The best
Why
way
get yourself in trouble?
Yeah, the best way to avoid that is always pay attention of the speed limits on the highways. Always pay attention to the Waze, because Waze is the best tool to when you drive around. You make sure you always alert on that, and make sure when you're driving, there is tips that I can give you right now when you're driving on a highway. The cops always love to be parked hidden in the shady spot behind the tree in the end of the hill or after a turn. When you know you're gonna speed up, you're downhill like quite a bit faster. That's when you see a cop. So always look for those areas. And the only time
they're the same everywhere.
Yeah, and the only time you don't have to worry about any cops on the road is when it's raining, because they're made of sugar.
Yeah, they all melt in the rain.
That's the only time, seriously.
All right, from Tracy, how pricey is a car rental?
It depends. So if you're going for a big guys like a national car rental, thrifty, which is it's a whole different level versus the small car rental places in small towns. Like, okay, they have a flat fee, like $45, usually more or less 45. I think it is more or less.
Depends.
Depends on the car. But the other car rentals, it depends on the car and the length of the contract, and also if you get what type of insurance. Now, about insurance with the big companies, there is nothing like some people come from other countries say, oh no, my credit card has already insured. That doesn't apply here. By law, you need to get Panamanian insurance. And when you're renting a car, especially with the big companies, get the full cover, everything, including the windshield, including the scratches, every single thing, maximum liability. And you'll think, well, nothing's going to happen to me. That is understandable. But you cannot control the outcome of the other cars. You cannot control then the truck in front of you is going to be dry car with a big cargo of gravel, and then some of those rocks will jump out of it and then smash your windshield, and there you go, the deposit or more.
And as far as the local guys, we have a lot of people that will come and rent a car for a month when they first arrive while they're waiting to get their visa and their bank account set up in order to get money here to buy a car. And the local guys here in Boquete might be around $800 a month.
Yeah.
The big dealerships at the David Airport
starts like at $1,300.
Yeah, more like around 15 average, depending on the vehicle you're renting. So you save a lot renting with the little guys.
John, is a Lexus okay to own in Panama? Yes, it is okay to own in Panama. Lexus is not a car for work. First, it's a luxury vehicle. I own that. It really is. The one I have that we have is very strong. I love this specifically the Lexus because the suspension is all Prado.
Yeah, it's Toyota, so there's Toyota everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Easy parts to find,
Yeah.
easy fixes. All the mechanics know it.
Yeah, I love Lexus. We love Lexus.
Larry, does Waze work in Panama?
Number one tool to drive in the highways.
Yeah.
Yep. What others?
Over age 70 driver's license only good for 2 years? Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
From Alan, are there any exotic cars in Panama and or qualified mechanics?
The most excited cars usually are in the Panama City, and the most mechanic garages are in Panama City. There's the beat right now. There is for Mercedes, BMW, and Dodge. But let's say if you own a Lamborghini or Ferrari, Panama City, I will highly suggest. But you don't want a car that you cannot drive in the country. It's just a crime. Anybody to I saw a guy with a Lamborghini driving in Chitre. I'm like, that's a sin. That car you can even drive it over 100 kilometers because
But
it's
the
too low
highway?
to the ground. No,
No?
not even because the highway has a lot of uneven
Right.
areas. So if you go over 100, I mean, just gonna destroy the spoiler in any time. It's just a crime. It's just a crime for that car.
Jenny asks, what's the general ballpark price for a new economy car?
View in your economy car. Actually, it goes. You can find a brand new economy car starting 14 grand, 14, 12 grand. Depends of the size. If you're looking for a
You mean
compact,
like a sedan?
a sedan about 14 grand. If you're looking at a compact car like a Kia Picanto, around 12 to 14 grand. Depends of the specifications.
What about a mid-size SUV? That's the most popular. For people.
Between 23 to 26. Like right now, there is a brand like this new model of Jimmy. It's a great Jeeps. Small engine. They came out with a 5-door, and
Suzuki.
the Suzuki, yeah, Japanese. And they're really good cars. They're not meant to be driving fast. They only have small engine, 1.5, I believe. But the 5-door is spacious, is good looking, is comfortable, way more comfortable than the 3-door.
Can take you anywhere.
Can take you anywhere. If you buy standard, much better option because you can actually have better power. Automatic, they're good, but you cannot drive over 100. There is no way. So it's a car to drive slow, will take you anywhere. Just
And that's 100 kilometers per hour.
Per hour.
60 miles per hour.
Yeah. But you know, they're great cars. They're technology with the transmission, the 4-wheel drive. They're little spiders. They can crawl.
Yeah, they're very popular and very cute.
They're
Sandra, how much does auto insurance typically cost in Panama?
That costs depending on the model and the year of the vehicle. So,
For example, let's ask Rod how much his Jimny is.
Rod, how much the Jimmy is the full insurance per month?
Full coverage, 615.
615, and his
Annual.
car is 2022.
No, 2024.
2024. Brand new Jimny Suzuki.
Brand new Suzuki Jimmy.
615. That's super affordable.
Yeah, for a brand new car. But if you're looking for a Toyota Prado, latest model is about 1200.
Yeah. From Tamra, if I buy a new Hyundai in the US now and bring it to Panama in a couple of years, will the long warranty be honored at the dealerships there?
Mm-mm. Not at all.
No.
There's one thing US is another thing Panama. Is the specifications are different of that car. I will not bring it here because the sensors and catalyzers of your fuel are different than Panama because the regulations of fumes are different here. So therefore, even if you put the premium gasoline here, most likely in 6 months you will have to change some sensors. So
different fuel.
Different fuel because it's different regulations for. That's why we have the Latin American market is it's very common diesel here because we have way less regulations of the emissions, gas emissions in Latin America.
Oh, we forgot to talk about gas prices. We sell by the liter here in Panama.
Yeah.
So it's currently, we were just talking about it, 88 cents a liter diesel, 95 cents a liter for 91 gasoline, and $1.06 a liter for 95.
And there were announced new prices starting on Friday 14. Usually they varies. A few cents is more, a few cents is less. So it's always up and down.
Yeah, and I think
But
there's
still
like,
around.
what is it, almost 4 liters in a gallon? Somebody in
Yeah,
the
but the
comments
most
tell
I
us.
spent for 95 premium was $1.26 per liter.
All right, from Bruce. Could you again review the driver's license process after the authentication is done? Yeah, so once you have your authentication, you will get your blood type test. And if you're over 70, get the doctor's note. And then you'll go into Sen. If you are of pensionado age, so they call it jubilado here. If you're over 57 as a woman or over 62 as a man, then you don't need an appointment. And if you're under that, then you'll need an appointment to go in. And you'll go in with your authentication, your blood type test, and you'll do a hearing and a vision test. And then you'll pay your $40 or $32 for pensionado, and they'll print out your new license. $615 per month insurance. 600.
It was a year, a whole year.
Yeah, 615 annual.
Yeah, and remember, it's
Because-
just for around the value of that car, because that car he bought it for like 20. How was the price you buy that car, Rod?
20,000.
20,000. So it always depends on the model, and some models of the cars can be more expensive just because the model. Like some of the cars that pay more insurance are the pickup trucks, the Toyota Hilux.
Debbie says, I was told that you can't get full coverage on a car that is 5 years or older.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, usually it's
10
over
years.
10 years you can't, but depending on the vehicle, sometimes you can get even a little longer than that.
Yeah, like your Lexus 2011. Imagine they still can get full until this year. Still can get full cover, full. It's actually insurance for 19 grand.
Yeah, but up to 10 years, definitely.
Yeah.
From Peter and Kathy, is there a point system for speeding tickets?
Yes,
Too
it
many
is.
and your license is suspended.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Ian, I need a full-size SUV to fit 5 people. What's good?
Definitely get a Toyota Prado or a Fortuner, a Pilot, Honda Pilot.
CRV.
5 people. Yes, CRV depends of the size of the people. If it's
Mhm.
full adults, CRV is a little tight.
That's right.
You can get if you're looking for a budget car for 5 people, you can get this Suzuki XL. Has 3rd row seats.
From Mike.
Yeah,
Those are all
so
good options.
those are the good options. Or a Ford Everest.
Oscar drives all of them, so he feels strongly about what are the best models.
Yes. Yeah, I like strong cars. It's something you feel sturdy.
For Michael, if you know your blood type, do you still need the test? Yes.
Hi, Michael, by the way.
Heidi, what about bringing a Harley Davidson? Could there be issues with gas sensors?
Harley's usually is easier here. And then there is in Panama City and in David, I know there is actually, we have a friend that he owns a Harley Davidson. So if you're bringing that, I mean, Harleys are very common to bring here. They're pretty much all imported. I don't think they have much issues than a regular car. And you can even change the catalyzers. I can only assume because I don't own motorcycles, but I know there is many people that bring their Harleys and they have no major problems.
Oops.
Ian asks, is there ethanol in the gas in Panama?
No.
My understanding, no. Not at all.
Last question.
Last question. What is the last question? We already respond that one. Harley is good.
This one, Bruce?
No, Megan, stop it.
We already did that.
Oh,
We already respond that. It's Bruce.
oh, yeah, no,
It's
that's-
Bruce. Recommended facilitator to get a person to various places for a drive license. Hmm?
Yes. Yes, yeah. So yes, we do, because I mean, unless you speak Spanish, nobody in the foreign affairs office speaks English. Um, if you, yeah, it's so much easier to just have a facilitator do it for you. Honestly,
Yeah. It's always worth it to pay extra. To me, guys, personally,
there's nowhere to park in Casco Viejo. I mean, you could do it, but have a translator with you if you don't speak Spanish. And either way, you're going to have to wait 3 days for them to give it back to you. So if you don't want to wait all that time in Panama City, just have somebody do it for you.
yeah.
The link is in the comments.
Yeah, so there's
yeah,
a link in the comments. Please reach out to us. For the rest of you, they still have some questions. If you would feel like you need any assistance from us, please email to us, and we'll make sure to reach out and connect you to the professional that can help you to do the process. We personally we do some of this process as well. Um, Remember that we're here every week, every Thursday, different topic besides our monthly Q&A. We're very grateful for you guys to be joining us tonight. Really hope that this was informative to all of you. We're just trying here to make sure everyone has some answers from some myths about the driver license and the purchase of vehicles in Panama. And remember, one thing that I didn't got into about the cars, the used cars, is the value, and also that we don't have Carfax. Is that some people is still thinking the mentality of coming to North America and into Panama, like you cannot find a good vehicle. Like the value of the cars here are way different. Like it's all about relative to the kilometers, the condition, more than a year,
And
like
the local market
and the
price.
local market as well. Some cars will hold a lot of value. So there is a lot of people they really wanted to get or thinking they want to come here and get a Toyota Prado for under 10 grand, 2015. That never is gonna happen ever. And those cars you 2015 you're looking over 22 grand.
If you want to get an idea, you can look on
Encuentra
Panama
24.
City Facebook Marketplace. Encuentra 24 is another popular site, just to get an idea of what used cars are going for.
And always just feel free to reach out to us. I'm more than happy to give you some assessment. If you want to hire us for the job, more than happy to make that happen for you. But yeah, you always want to check. There is a lot of deals. So it's one thing is what you see on the screen versus what you see in person. There is some many that like I was saying in the beginning. Not everything that shines is gold. So many good deals, but when you go to the practice, turns out that the car is not that good. So
yeah, we also help with driver's license too. You know, if you want to do it the good old fashioned way, I forgot to mention before your appointment, you do need to get a certificate from a local driving school first. And so we can help you, take you there, and you don't actually have to do the classes. You can just pay and get this certificate, and we can help walk you through that process as well.
Yeah, so folks, we hope that this was informative to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. See you on next Thursday. Well, I will be in Panama City getting ready for my tour.
Maybe we'll
but I'll pop in because it's on Thursday. So we're still starting the tour. So yeah, but Megan and Rod will be full on the next Q&A.
Next week is Meet the Expats. Expats from Western Panama. Go to our website to put it in your calendar. I am going to put that link in the chat. You can actually add all of our Q&As into your personal calendars without telling us who you are or giving us your email. Just click on this link and check us out.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great evening.
Bye.
Yeah.